Hey guys, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. This video is proudly brought to you by the House of Cards, the official sponsor of my stream. Be sure to check out the link in the description below for all of your Flesh and Blood needs. Maxx Nitro is one of the funnest heroes that I never see anybody playing, and every single time I play him, I'm reminded of that. A typical Maxx game plan is pretty aggressively slanted because you want to put your opponent on the back foot to be able to have tempo so that you can set up your Nitro Mechanoid, and that's your combo finisher. High Octane and Nitro Mechanoid can present upwards of 40 to 50 damage in one turn. It's absolutely crazy to think about how much damage you can push in one turn, especially when it has overpower attached to it. With our Maxx game plan in mind, it's important to remember how disruptive Uzuri can be and how tough it can be to play out of some of those spots she puts you in. Much like our good friend Kenny Rogers, we got to know when to hold them and we got to know when to fold them. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. Okay. So against Uzuri, we're going to try and protect our arsenal as much as we can. The crown tells us that they're playing red line Uzuri here. I'd kind of like to be able to, man, there's just, I don't really have much of an option here. So if I pitch my twin drive to go Harpoon into, so if I pitch twin drive to play Harpoon, I can pitch Jumpstart to activate Heart to gain 2 resources to be able to activate Maxx, and then Arsenal my Hyperdriver. Alternatively, I can just play. So let's load the pistol and let's play the Hyperdriver here, and we won't crank, and then I'll just Arsenal the twin drive and we'll try to set up a little bit here. We were hoping for a little bit of a better hand, but looking at this isn't too great. I mean, this is fine. I think I'll block 3 here. I think that's fine. Like, I think my hand is like kind of not that great, so being able to block is like a pretty reasonable task here. So let's block the Expedite, which is kind of a giveaway for what we're up to here, but I mean, the shred to just push through 2 points of damage is, I would call that a win for us personally. So we'll just boost the twin drive 1 time here. We'll go up to 2 resources. We'll have a Hyperdriver on 1 counter, and then we'll just go ahead and activate Maxx, no crank, and then Arsenal our 0 to 60. And hope for a decent hand where we can try to push some damage next turn. This hand wasn't really a super explosive hand. It could have been, but like, I mean, we could have played some cards here, but I didn't really feel like trying to, I don't know, like the hand just wasn't great. And honestly, looking at this hand just screams block 6 to me. Or depending on what our opponent does, we're actually able to, so let's see, we'd need 1, 2, 3 resources. 4, we need 4 resources, and we have access to 5. So depending on what our opponent does here, we could just decide to like throw our hand and like play the Harpoon here. I think I might just say no blocks on this and see if they put like in like Command and Conquer. Okay, so they actually get our 0 to 60 there, which is fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not great, but it's fine. So let's go Data Link for 3, and we'll try to opt 1. Banishing a Mechanoid is okay. It's not the end of the world, but it's not great either. We'd like to try and keep some for the late game if we can. I guess we'll leave that on top. I'm okay with banishing that away. We'll play our Harpoon here, coming in for 4 with go again. The lower we can get them, the better for us, because when we're actually able to flip, our able to flip the mech suit, we'll be in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to activate Maxx, and then I am going to crank, and then I'm going to play this Hyperdriver, and I'm going to choose not to crank. And now we're basically just looking for a high octane to Arsenal, and we're looking for a mech suit to be able to play here. I'm going to block 3 on this because this is just going to be block city until we find high octane mech combo. With 2 of our hyperdrivers on 1, we're not really able to like try and like play super aggressive here. So I'm just going to block 9. Take 1 and pass. And then I'm going to shoot the gun here. We'll just shoot the pistol for 2. I've been playing so much Dash Database and Dash IO that I keep like saying gun, which I mean technically a pistol is a gun, but it's the pistol, not the gun. Little different there. Our opponent blocks 3 because they have an extra card. That makes sense. I mean, this hand's just really good. Kind of wish this was a max velocity so that we could just come across the board with everything we had here. But I mean, this is just a 12-point hand that lets me take cards out of their hand here. So I think I'm just gonna say no blocks and just take it here. Can't gain names. Hits a hero, cards and tokens they own lose and can't gain names. Okay, well, I don't think that's a problem. We're only going to have 2 hyperdrivers in play after this, which is going to be a little unfortunate, but I think it'll be okay because we'll just be looking to find another hyperdriver to make our mech combo, our mech suit combo go off here. So we're going to have access to 3, 6 resources, and we're going to need 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go ahead and load the pistol. Well, we're actually going to need 6 because we're going to activate Maxx. So the 6 that we have is exactly what we're going to be using. So let's go twin drive going boost. Since we're just boosting 1 time, we'll only be able to see 3 cards out of our opponent's hand here. But if our opponent's like trying to turn this into a race, then I think that's perfectly fine. Plus our opponent's pretty likely to block our data link, I would say. They're getting to stop an on hit effect, and they're getting to block efficiently with cards from their hand. I would say our opponent blocks on chain link too, but I've been wrong before. Losing a high octane is pretty unfortunate. That's 1 high octane and 1 Nitro Mechanoid down already, which is pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. Give me a card. Give me a card. Give me a card. Yep. There it is, and now we're going to get to take the best card out of their hand with the Harpoon right here, which you love to see. You love to see it. Our opponent blocks, and they get immediately punished for their decision, which I don't think it's a bad decision on their part. I mean, taking the Codex is just best here because they have Sigil Isolate. So taking the Codex is just our best play. So we'll take the Codex. Our opponent goes to 26. We're going to activate Maxx. And then since our hyperdriver doesn't have a name, we can't crank it here, and we're just going to pass. We'll see what they throw at us after this. They have a Codex anyway. That's highly unfortunate that they just had one anyway. We haven't seen a Max V yet, so we're looking at playing our twin drive here, I think. I think our twin drive is going to be our best bet. In case we do draw like just a monster hand here. We'll discard the Expedite. And we'll just go ahead and block 6 to keep our twin drive here. I think that's perfectly fine. And then I'm just going to play my hyperdriver here. Choose not to crank, and then I'm just going to pass. And this is the kind of hand we're looking for, because I can block with my Combustible Courier, and then I can just flip the mech suit, and we're good to go. I can also block with Heart here, which is what I'm going to do. All of my things have Battle Worn, so they have no way to actually destroy them. The problem is going to be blocking with the mech suit after we flip, because if our opponent has a red shred on the first block, we're just super dead. Or if they have already gone in a shred, it can be a blue shred, and if they come over the top, we're just like in a really bad spot. Yeah, we'll just take 5, I think. I don't think there's really a reason to do anything. There's a reason they pick Go again here. Now we will block 4. In case this is a surgical extraction, this allows us to play around it. The Command and Conquer is fine. Like, don't get me wrong, that's not great for us, but that's perfectly fine. That is like a very reasonable thing for them to have. The one card that was really gonna, like, you know, be a feels bad moment would have been a the card that lets us Shakedown. Shakedown would have been bad, and we blocked 4 with we blocked the 4th point with our Heart, 1 because it makes our surgical extraction a little bit worse, and 2 because we needed to block with our Heart to be able to get out of that spot we were in. Man, if we had any hyperdrivers, I mean, I guess even if we had hyperdrivers, it doesn't really matter. What does Shred say? So, I mean, we'll just take 2. That might have been the spot we're supposed to block with the Mechanoid there. I'm not sure. Like, blocking with the Mechanoid on that might have been correct. It's so hard to say. Well, I don't have any reaction cards, so I don't really care about that. We'll just take the 1 and go to 11. They're going to use Tunic to throw the Spider's Bite at me. I'm going to block 3 here. So this is more than likely going to be a shred or something here, which is fine. Like, again, it's not great for us, but it's like, it's okay. So I'm okay. I'm pretty much never going to block with the Mechanoid here. Like, it's just too good for our opponent to have a shred and be able to, like, kill my Mechanoid. Like, that's such a feels bad moment. You only make that mistake once, I promise you. I have made that mistake before, and it does not feel good. It is not a feels good moment. All right, well, this hand is absolute dog water. And now that I have my max V in Arsenal, I'm no longer in a decent spot to do what I want. I mean, I don't... Like, we want our high Octane, but, like, this hand is... It's honestly hard to believe that a hand like this could even show up. Arsenaling maximum velocity is always dangerous when you don't have Crown of Providence to, like, bail you out, but, like, this is just so bad. Well, we're going to block that because we don't have anything else going on here. So they can't buff this up, so I could actually just block here if I wanted to. Like, they can't actually kill this in any way because Shred is defending an assassin attack action. So we'll actually just go ahead and block with our mech suit here. We're getting some real value out of blocking, which is honestly more than I thought we would get, so I'll take it. Yeah, let's boost. I mean, heck yeah. Like, we'll try to put some pressure on our opponent here. Okay, they have a Fate Foreseen, which means they're only going to take 1. And then we're going to come in for 6, getting rid of our last Hyperdriver. Our opponent going to go to 11. They do. Okay. I mean, this is a pretty good hand. Like, again, if I have to block, I will. But, like, I think this is a perfectly reasonable hand. I think blocking 6 is just fine here. Or maybe I'm so, like, yeah, so if I block 6 with the 2 MetExes, I can go 0 to 60, boost, activate Maxx, crank, and then come in. So, I mean, I think this is a perfectly fine block for 6 here. They probably have the shred or something, but that's okay. So I'm going to go to 7, and then I'm going to go to 5 off of the Pox token. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go to 4, and then I'm going to go to 2, which means they're really in a spot where they just have to stay alive at that point. I could alternatively just come in for 6. I don't know. This is tough. Being at 2 is like fine. Like, it's not terrible, but like, that means I can't go to 1 ever because of the flick knives. So let's just come in for 6 and then stay at 4. I think I'd rather play it safe and stay at 4 here. I don't really want to like be caught like, you know, metaphorically with my pants down here. Like, this already feels like not a great matchup for me. But our opponent also has to be a little bit weary here, because if they just go to 5, they could be put in a really... I was like, if they just take 6 and go to 5, they could also be put in a really bad spot. I'd really like to see one of our 18 blues with one of these high octanes we keep drawing into. Well, it's blocked there. And I'm just going to block 6 here. I think that's the correct play. Now, unfortunately, this hyperdriver is just kind of stuck in my hand, which is very unfortunate. I mean, I really don't think I can afford to... like, say no blocks right there. Well, if I say no blocks, I'm just dead because the flick knives kills me, but having the hyperdriver in my hand is so bad because I can't do anything with it. Like, I can't pitch the pistol. God, I'm just dead right here. Like, I'm probably actually about to die right here. The double hyperdriver is so bad. They're probably trying to figure out their best way to get around 12 block to be able to try to kill me, but they don't realize that I'm probably just dead. And like, do I have to block this? I think I have to go to 3 with this hand. I guess let's just block, and then we'll see what happens. Oh man, this does not feel good. I do not feel good about the way this game is going at all. Please don't have the shred. I was like, I think I honestly just have to take a chance that they don't have it right there. I think that's all I can do. So we're going to play Hyperdriver, we're going to crank, and we're going to come in getting rid of the Hyper X3 here. The card that we have to keep is the Galvanic Bender. That gives the Mechanoid +1 here. This must be another D-React. Yep. So our opponent goes to 2. Or I'm sorry, takes 2 and goes to 4. An attack. So it's just an assassin attack. So it could, like, they could actually shred on one of the spider's bite or the nerve scalpel here, which is like super bad news bears for me. I think I have to block. So if I get to stay at 6, I'm actually okay here, right? Because there's no way for them to give go again. And then I get to go T-Bone Boost, Gain a Resource, Zipper Hit Boost, and to kill them more than likely. So, I mean, we might be able to do this somehow. Actually winning this game would be crazy. Doesn't feel very likely even right now in the spot that we're in, but like it would still be cool to be able to like say that we won this game. Waiting to block with the Mechanoid in a very patient fashion, blocking their cards like we're... The only time that we really put ourselves in a potentially bad spot with the Mechanoid was on the Leave No Witness a couple of turns ago, but I think we're in a spot where we can't do anything about that, and that just is what it is. I mean, you're going to give me at least one card here, or you're going to give me 2 pieces of your equipment here and go to 1, which is great for me. So they block 5. We come in for 6. They block 3, go to 1. Oh, they just conceded. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe we won that game. 13 turn slog where we actually came out on the front foot there. Insane. I feel like it was pretty safe to say I did not think I was going to win this game. I felt like I had my back against the wall. Uzuri had all the tempo, and it felt like I was one shred or one flick knives activation away from losing that game. One of the big pluses of flipping Nitro Mechanoid is that you can block for 6 to 9 every single turn, and then come in for 6 overpower, and maybe with 1 card if you have it. You don't have to play the crazy big high octane turns. You get a minimum of 8 turns of being able to come in for 6 overpower. You are whittling your opponent away every single turn, and when they take an off turn, you strike. Normally, Nitro Mechanoid is a free block for 13 to 14 every single game when you flip it. Against Uzuri, you have to be careful with that. Cards like Shred and Already Dead can absolutely wreck your day and destroy the Mechanoid. If you flip the Mechanoid and then get it destroyed before you're able to have a big turn with it, you're in a really, really bad spot. There was one turn during this game where my opponent attacked with a Leave No Witnesses where I kind of had to just let the shields down and hope they didn't have it. And I was very fortunate that we ended up in a spot where our opponent did not have the shred to blow us out and kill our Nitro Mechanoid. If you guys see anything I could have done differently, or you see a better line, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.